Hi everybody, welcome back to One Good Scare Show for our usual roundup of all of the horror-based news and reviews, toys, comics, and all that jazz. And James, how are you? Fresh back from your holidays? How are you
I
doing?
am. I'm very well. I missed you, man. This is
I
this
missed you
is
too. I
it's
missed
good
you
to be on
too.
camera. It's good to
Yeah,
see your little face. So like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And there's been lots of news, so I'm excited to get to it.
Yeah, there's some exciting stuff. We've both seen a recent horror movie, which we're going to touch on a little
Yes,
bit
first
later
one of the
on.
year.
But Night Swim. Be interested to hear what you think about that.
Mm.
And I've got some other bits and bobs in the slides as well to go through. Some stuff to challenge you a little bit on, give you some thinking time. But as ever, we will start off with some horror news. And I thought we'd talk about this because I know you are a big Scream fan, and I know we talk
Yes.
about Scream a lot, but it's kind of hit the pan a little bit over the last
It's a
few.
shit, just a disaster, like a shit show. Um, I think this might be the last try. It might just get cancelled now. And it's
They'll
six be
not
the last
surely
one
they'll not cancel it. Surely, I
entirely,
mean,
or just a straight reboot, like no involvement from anybody from previous movies. So yeah, Christopher Landon, who is
yeah,
was the director for Scream 7, has now left the project. Apparently, he left immediately after Melissa Barrera was let go, and you just kept it quiet for an extra couple of weeks. Yeah, this is heartbreaking. He was a really great choice for director. He did Happy Death Day and
yeah.
Freaky, which are Happy Death Day particularly very Scream inspired. My heart goes out to him because I think clearly he went in super stoked as a Scream fan to get to do a Scream movie, and it just kind of things beyond his control went to shit, and he's after leaving now. So yeah, Scream 7 has no director attached, no lead actors attached, and I think might not even happen now at this stage.
I think you're a bit sky is fallen, James. I think it'll happen because it shits out money, doesn't it? So I can't imagine the studio not wanting it to happen. But I think you're right. I don't think it'll be a follow on to what we were hoping. The last two movies in particular feel like a neat little trilogy kind of leading up to. So I don't think we'll
Yeah,
get that necessarily.
I don't know. Like if it's not gonna have anybody from the previous ones, if it's not gonna nobody's attached, like I don't know if I even want this movie now. Do you know? Like if like Ghostface, I love Ghostface, but you know there's a legacy to this series, and I'd like it to pick that up. Like there's Scream had an MTV TV series which is kind of a reboot.
Yeah.
And it was like fine, but it didn't feel like Scream really, even in season 3 when they had like Ghostface, the actual Ghostface mask. So like, yeah, I don't know if I'm I'm not enthusiastic at all anymore, and I'm not sure I even want this to happen now.
We've had no other announcements, have we, since he's come out and said he's not going to direct anymore?
No, there's been no update at all on it. So yeah, I mean, it's I think it's 50-50. It's on the ropes now. If it even happens, yeah, absolutely.
The big shame, because I really enjoyed the last couple of movies, particularly on the second watch. I really enjoyed them. So that's
it's just avoidable as well. This didn't need to happen. Like it all just crumbled for some studios jumping the gun on something an actress said that people kind of agree with. So it's
shitty. Yeah. It's a shame.
Shit
it's a
situation.
Shame.
Yeah,
this is exciting, and again, we've talked about this before. This has been kind of rumbling on for a while, but it's kind of the first time we've had the kind of the director and things come out and say that they are actively working on it. So this is 28 years later. So the sequel to 28 Days Later, 28 weeks. Sorry, it goes days.
It was weeks. With Jeremy Renner. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, this is a one that in my head, I'm sure I loved those first two movies, but I have to say I cannot remember when I watched them last. So I'd have to go back and watch.
Yeah. Weeks I've not seen for Jesus, a good 10, 12 years. Days I watched like maybe every 2-3 years or something. I'll stick it on. It's on TV quite a lot, so like I often watch it then. And it's cool to see Cillian Murphy in like an early role. Brendan Gleeson, and I love the cast of it. Like, and it was so terrifying. It was like one of the earliest kind of running zombie things.
Yeah,
it's just like, oh shit, like or just seeing someone get infected by like a thing dropping in his eye. And you're like, it's one of them ones where you're like, I wouldn't survive this. I don't know how anyone could survive in this world after 28 years. Some people must be fucking hard as nails in this universe.
It'd be interesting to see, but won't it? It'll be really interesting to see kind of how the world's built and developed since then. So I'm really looking forward to this. This will be very cool, I think.
Yeah, I also really like seeing kind of like long-term post-apocalypse, like obviously Last of Us, which is like 20 something years after seeing how the world has evolved in that way. So like, I'm excited to see this take. I hope it's in the UK as well. It's in London again.
Oh yeah. It's
So
got to be, surely. I would hope
it'll be
so.
good.
Yeah, looking
Hopefully.
forward to that one. Speaking of The Last of Us, we got some awards for Last of Us, didn't we?
Yeah, I won a few Emmys, so a lot of kind of the technical ones, and it won, but like the two kind of major ones. Storm Reed won for best guest actress for the Left Behind episode. She played Riley. So yeah, excellent. I think she was great in that episode, so I'm happy about that. And this was like, who else is going to win this? But Nick Offerman won for best guest actor, and like, of course he did. He was incredible. I think like could have been him or Murray Bartlett.
Yeah.
But I'm happy it was Nick Offerman. I think he was, out of the two of them, he was the more impressive, in that episode. And yeah, I mean, like, absolutely stoked for him. So delighted.
It's nice to see a show like this being recognised as well. Getting the accolades and things like that. Because quite often these kind of shows are kind of pushed to one side, aren't they? They're not.
Yeah.
They're not sexy Hollywood, really, are they?
Yeah, and you just had the Golden Globes for just the other night, and it didn't. I don't think it won much at all, really. So I was kind of stunned. Like, Pedro didn't win Best Actor or Bella for Best Actress or anything. So curious now, like, if it'll take the lead acting ones, or I would imagine like Best like. There's pretty sure there's an award for like best writing for an episode. So episode 3 is going to win for that. I'm sure. But I think like best score it should win, and those kind of things as well. So yeah, I'd like it to just have a clean sweep and just wins everything, but we'll see.
Just wins the lot. Everything it wins. Best animation, everything.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It did win best opening, like the intro animation one for the best. Yeah. So actually did win best animation. So there you go.
Of course it did.
Well earned. Yeah.
Speaking of Last of Us, there's been a whole host of casting. I think I'm missing one here, but tell me a little bit about the casting that's been going on at the moment.
Yeah. So first up, Caitlin Dever, who you might know from Booksmart, and kind of a few things. She's also Cassie in Nathan Drake's daughter in Uncharted 4. Okay. So she's been cast as Abby. So it's funny, I prior to this, if anyone watching, I know we have some newer kind of viewers, I used to have a gaming channel, and I did quite a lot of Last of Us videos, and I had a video right when Pedro and Bella were cast about who I'd like to see as the other characters in the series. Okay. And I actually said Caitlin Dever as Abby. So she was very popular choice among fans for Ellie for a long time. And I thought Abby, the less you know about Abby, the better. Like, there's some big spoilers around that character, so I'm not going to say anything really. But she's a very divisive character among the fan base. So I think putting an actress that the fan base rallied behind at a point is actually a very clever move, and to kind of, to make her more likable. But I think she also kind of just looks like Abby, like you can see in the image there. So I think excellent choice, very great actress, and she's going to be incredible. Abby's a very muscular character, so I'm curious, is she going to bulk up like quite a lot for it? But yeah, I'm curious to see what you'll think of that character. Like, there's some interesting stuff with her. And then Isabella Merced, this just dropped like an hour ago. Isabella Merced, who she played Dora in the Dora the Explorer movie. She's going to be Hawkgirl.
Right. Yeah.
Hawkgirl in the Superman Legacy. She's also in Spider-Woman, Madam Web. She's in that as well. So she's going to be playing Dina, who is kind of one of Ellie's friends and kind of a major character in it as well. Funny enough, in that video where I had Caitlin Dever, I had her as Sarah. So another actress I actually wanted in the series. She's just playing a different character now. But yeah, another actress I've always loved. So like, I saw it, I went, I'm just happy. It's cool. Yeah, she's great as well. And then the other character that's been cast is a character named Jesse. So that's the guy from Beef. Don't know, did you watch Beef?
Yeah, I've not watched it. I think I watched the first episode of it.
Yeah, so he's like the younger brother in Beef, but he's really fun in that. And Jesse and Dina are a couple. So like, I think that'd be a cool kind of pairing.
So one of my joys of The Last of Us, the first season, was going into a property I knew nothing about. So I liked that kind of not knowing anything. Well, obviously I've got myself a PlayStation now, and I'm tempted to play the second game, but I don't know whether I should just leave it and watch the show first.
I play through the first game and see how you feel. Yeah. There are things you could see that will just ruin the whole thing for you if you if you know. So for me, I would almost do it just to kind of get those spoilers out of the way. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm loving 3 actors that I really like. 2 in particular, I love. Have been cast already, and like the first season it's Joel and Ellie, and you have like guest characters throughout, just per episode. 2 is more of an ensemble. Like these, some of these are in multiple episodes. They'll be throughout the show.
Okay, yeah.
So they're big. They're gonna have a lot of screen time, and they're very likable characters. So
looking forward to it. Can't wait to see it. Okay, I wanted to mention this. This is a new comic book that's coming out. This is by the team that did Stray Dogs, which is I absolutely loved. You've not read Stray Dogs yet, have you?
I haven't. No, I know everybody shiting on about it. I've been meaning to get into it, but I just
shiting on about it. That's right.
Yeah.
You've been shiting on about it.
It's
well worth reading. So this is a series by the same people. This is Feral, and it's basically about cats. Don't like cats. But anyway, it's about cats, and they are involved in a car crash during a rabies outbreak. So it's basically about the cats trying to survive, and the headlines like "Don't get scratched, don't get bit," and things like that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think that looks like a pretty cool. And as with Stray Dogs, it's got a whole host of homage covers there, as you can see on the front. So yeah,
that's Dawn of the Dead one there. That looks cool. Yeah, I like that.
So looking forward to that. I've banged on about this book before. This is Ribbon Queen. I've just caught up recently with issue 4, 5, and 6. I think this has just blown me away, and I just wanted to put it on for people who like a bit of horror. This is a story set in modern time, and it's a police investigation basically, and this it's got quite a lot of kind of political vibes to it and things, but it's basically a police officer who's trying to break up I'm not going to spoil it for people, but a ring of corrupt cops. And during the course of this kind of investigation, you get introduced to the Ribbon Queen, who's there to basically punish men if they do anything against women. And basically the concept is, you'll have heard that phrase before, cut you to ribbons, and that's what she does. She just kind of unfolds your skin.
Okay.
In the last issue, we got some backstory, which was this kind of medieval kind of setup here, which is showing you the first kind of interaction of the Ribbon Queen. And I just wanted to show you, James, because the artwork is just amazing. So you get this kind of scene going on, and then these 2 women run off into the woods, and one of them runs through the thorn woods, which you're told never to go into because that's where the creatures live and stuff. And that's how she comes out in the bottom there, kind of ripped to shreds. But that's then she becomes the Ribbon Queen. So that image on the other side there is basically she the people who are on horses. You can see the horse's skin coming off and everything.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. I'm loving it. If you like your gore and your horror, it's well worth picking up. It's a great storyline. So well worth a read, that one.
That sounds cool.
Now, a couple of slides on this, James. This is a list of horror movies that are coming out over the next year. So
okay.
Baghead, we're going to talk about that in a little bit because we've got a trailer to that's just come out.
Yeah.
So we'll leave that one for the bit. Lisa Frankenstein, I've just seen a trailer for that when I went to the cinema the other day. It looks friggin' mental. Have you seen that one?
I haven't. I've been hearing about it. Who directs it again?
Oh, I'm not sure, mate. I'm not
it's
sure.
It's not Sophia Coppola, is it? Or someone like that? It's a female
it looks
director,
crazy.
Like,
it looks absolutely crazy. But I quite like the look of it, to be honest. Are there any on there that are jumping out at you? This is the first half of the year.
A couple of them I either forgot or just didn't realize where. I didn't know there was a Silent Hill movie coming out this year. That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't even know that was happening. So I'm curious to see more of that. Quiet Place, I guess. Yeah, I love Quiet Place, and like
I love A Quiet Place. Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I think that will be very, very cool.
Yeah, Strangers is the one. What's The Watchers?
It sounds interesting. It's about a couple of kids that get lost in the woods or something, and there's creatures in the woods trying to get them. Trap was completely off my radar. This is the next movie by, and I'll get his name wrong. What you call him? M.
Night Shyamalan?
Yeah. Right. There's nothing really about this movie other than the title to it. So yeah, I'm quite looking forward to that one. I think that'll be quite interesting. Winnie the Pooh 2. I've not seen that.
It's fucking
First one.
already. It's already. It's
Yeah.
out in February. Like, ugh.
Seems very, very quick. Imaginary looks quite interesting. I like that one. That's about the
Yeah, that's the
imaginary
Blumhouse one, isn't it? The teddy bear.
Yeah.
Yeah. That could go either way. I feel like it could
Yeah.
be great. Or it could be yeah.
I'll give it a go. I think I'll give it a go.
First Omen, I'm curious about.
Yeah, I don't know if that's linked to the
The Omen. It is. Yeah.
the proper the proper
Yeah, it's a
movie
prequel.
series.
Yeah.
Ah, right.
Which is like,
Quite like the
you're doing an Omen movie before the Omen is born. You know, like it's.
Yeah.
So it's like whoever with like the previous Antichrist, I would assume,
Yeah.
or something like that. There's a trailer for that. I forgot actually to say to watch
I
it.
haven't seen that one.
Yeah. I haven't watched it either, so I don't know. We'll talk about it next time.
Yeah,
But
interesting.
yeah, I mean, like that's one of the biggest, I think, franchises like to be coming back, making a
Yeah.
long awaited return. Like I
really-
don't remember when the last Omen movie was, like
Well,
the remake, was it?
There was a TV show a while ago which followed the
Oh, there was,
continuity.
yeah.
And that was that called Damien? I think it was called rather than.
I think so, yeah.
But it got panned after the first season. But actually, it was really good. I quite enjoyed that one.
Okay.
Later part of the year, we've got Alien, Beetlejuice, really looking forward to. Saw, obviously. Smile 2 looks interesting. There's some interesting ones in there. There's some ones that I've not looked into yet, so I don't know much about them. Like this Maxine, I'm not sure what that's. Oh, that's the third.
Pearl, yeah, Pearl X,
yeah.
the sequel, the third one, yeah. It's a direct sequel to X, so it's like it
Still
had
not watched X.
the main character
Still
from
not
that.
watched X. Witchboard is a remake of an old late 70s, early 80s movie, I think, about Witchboard, about a kind of a Ouija board, so that'll be quite interesting.
Is Nosferatu on Christmas?
Yeah, it's a Christmas.
That's
movie.
annoying because like when we're like doing our little wrap up end of year thing, it's like we're gonna have to just see it like the day
For
after
Christmas.
Stephen's Day again.
Christmas Day, that and Terrifier, isn't it? Happy Christmas.
Terrifier's
October, sorry, October.
Yeah, thank God. Yeah.
yeah.
But it is a Christmas movie, which is very early to release a Christmas movie. I feel like
Yeah,
before
yeah,
Halloween. I think that's I don't like that. The Crow, I forgot is
Yeah.
supposed to be this year as well, isn't it? Is that Bill Skarsgård?
Yeah.
I think it's Bill Skarsgård. Yeah. So looking forward to that.
That'd be interesting.
What do you know? What Thread is?
It's one of the Insidious.
Insidious?
It says it's an Insidious Tales. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that one. I've seen the
I've
trailer
not even heard of that one.
And Shelby
yeah,
Oaks I've never heard of.
I think what's great about like the horror genre is a lot of the time these amazing ones will come out of nowhere. Like Barbarian came out of nowhere. Talk to Me came out of nowhere, you know, so there's probably ones that aren't listed here, or some of the ones we see like Arcadian might end up being the best one of the year, you know.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Yeah. So some interesting ones, some interesting stuff to look forward to. A nice spread of different horror.
What would you say you're most excited about for the year?
Oh well, it's not even horror. Do you know what I mean? But
Your Beetlejuice? Nah, aside from Beetlejuice, I wouldn't count Beetlejuice. It's like a spooky but not horror. Like
yeah. I like the Quiet Place universe. I really do like that. Probably Smile 2, to be honest. I really did enjoy Smile 2. Smile 1.
fair.
So what about yourself?
Toss up between Maxine, just because I love X and I love Pearl, so I like it, and Wolfman I'm very curious about. That's Lee Wanell. Did Invisible Man. Invisible Man is I think the best, like one like top 3 horror movies of the last decade. So seeing him
really enjoyed
doing that.
Actually, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Some good ones there, but isn't it? Nosferatu's got us really intrigued as well. There was a.
I'm sure it's Robert Eggers. It's gonna be amazing. I'm certain
Yeah,
of it.
there was an image of William Dafoe as a Van Helsing type, and that looked.
Yeah, he's all scarred up and everything. It looks good. Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah, some good stuff. I don't know if you'd seen this. So The Faculty, a movie created from when I was much younger. I haven't seen it for years and years and years. But this is getting a remake, or by the original creative team, Robert Rodriguez. So that might be interesting. Quite interested in that.
I watched it when I was so young. I vaguely remember it at all. I mostly just remember the cast, like Elijah Wood and Josh Hartnett.
Yeah.
Aliens, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure it's Aliens, but it's got some good kind of creepy scenes in it and things. But Robert Rodriguez I quite like, so I'll check that one out. That should be interesting.
I didn't know he was involved with the original one, was he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm saying that very confidently. I'm sure. I'm sure he's.
I'll send you an annoyed text later on when I verify he did not, in fact, have anything to do with the Faculty.
He wasn't born. Yeah,
No.
no, I'm sure he was. Let's just go with it.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, if I'm wrong, well, I can edit that bit out.
Okay.
So this is the current announcements from For the Love of Horror, or some of the current announcements. Anybody in there that jumps out at you?
Yeah, just for anyone watching who doesn't know, For Love of Horror is a convention in Manchester, a yearly one. HorrorCon that myself and Peter frequent. We have a blast at it every year. So hoping to go back this year. Yeah, I don't know, like, there's nobody really I'm like, oh, I need to meet them. I'm a fan of there's a show called Reaper. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Yeah, I've heard it. Yeah.
Tyler Labine is from that, so I mean, I guess that'd be cool. Michael Berryman, I suppose, from Hills of Eyes is a cool one. That'd be cool to meet.
Tyler Labine. You say. I look at him and all I think is Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Versus Evil. Yeah, that's what he's more known for. Yeah, I love that movie.
I love that film.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, other than that, there's a couple of the original Evil Dead, so like that'd be cool to get an Evil Dead poster. But I'm certain the A-listers are yet to be announced, and so they're the ones I'll be focused on. I think I don't see anyone here. I'm like 100% I'm getting them. You know.
Do you think, because they've announced a fair few of the Evil Dead original cast and stuff, do you think we're going to get Bruce Campbell?
No, they said they tried and he was unavailable. Yeah, they tried. So fair play to them for actually making the effort to do that, but no, he can't. This is he's gonna have to in the next couple of years. I'm so afraid he's gonna die. And I've never met Bruce Campbell, and it'll be one of my life regrets then. Yeah.
Some interesting people, and as you say, this is just the very early stages, so we'll get loads more coming over the next few months. So,
is there any like, probably Bruce Campbell aside, anybody you're like, oh, I jumped for them,
Not to be honest, not really. Bruce Campbell, just because I think he's Bruce Campbell, I love him,
Yeah.
But I don't know who would make us. I'm there more for the show and the fun, rather than actually meeting anybody, I guess.
Yeah, fair.
But yeah, I mean Robert England, obviously.
Yeah.
If Freddie was there, I would be.
He'd be him and Bruce Campbell are my two, like the two I have to. Yeah, soon. Like
that'd be very cool. Very cool. This is just fresh today. I don't know if you've seen this. So I've put it on these slides. We'll talk about it on other shows as well, but I put it on this because apparently he was doing a horror movie, and apparently he's dropped out of it. And the reason quoted is that time constraints, and it's actually been quoted that he has to leave the movie because he's pulled into doing other stuff on Fantastic Four. Now, Marvel have still not officially announced this.
Well, that's what I'm going to say. This is layers of speculation here now, because it's speculation that he's even playing Mr. Fantastic.
No, so this has come from an official. This is an official source saying apparently,
There's no such thing, Peter, as an official source.
Well,
it's
I don't know if it was
somebody saying somebody said that he's doing Fantastic Four, so he can't. I feel like that would have been bigger news. I would have heard that today.
That's not how I read it. I read it that his kind of manager or whatever had said that he couldn't do it because of time commitments with Fantastic Four. Maybe I'm wrong.
That would have been massive news if his rep had accidentally said, he is definitely playing. Yeah. So, I'm sure this. I've no doubts that this probably is. If he's officially dropped out of this movie, that it probably is because of Fantastic Four. That said, though, horror films typically that would indicate that Fantastic Four is filming this year. Because the horror films have a very short window of production, So Zach Kreger, I don't know who that is.
Weapons?
I've never
even heard of it. Never even.
No, do you get any info on what the movie actually is?
No.
I mean, it's their loss. Pedro's, I'd be gutted if I was making a movie and I had Pedro and he dropped out, but
still don't see him as Mr. Fantastic, mate.
I think he'll be amazing in it, but is that he wouldn't be who I would have gone for him? So
yeah. And then this I'm excited about this Frankenstein show, mind. I think this is going to be really interesting.
Is it a show?
So, well, I thought, is this not a Netflix? Not Netflix, sorry. Yeah, Netflix series, isn't it?
I thought it was a movie. No.
Oh, I might be wrong.
Okay.
I'm wrong a lot.
Jesus, you're really well researched.
Well researched. When I was at work, well researched these slides. I can't. No, it's on Netflix. It might be a movie, but it's definitely. I don't think it's a cinema movie. I think it's a Netflix exclusive.
Okay, right. It's Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein project. We'll say.
Yeah. Let's leave it at that. Yeah.
Okay.
I can't wait for this. I think this is going to be great. I quite enjoyed his last series. Was it the Cabinet of Curiosities?
Cabinet of Curiosities,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was good fun, actually. I enjoyed that. There were
Yeah.
some ropey episodes, but overall, there was some decent stuff.
I don't think he's directed a movie, if it is a movie. He's not done a movie since Shape of Water, has he?
I've never seen that. Is that any good?
I liked it. I thought it was good. It's weird. It's weird. Yeah, but it's just like a love story with the creature from the Black Lagoon, basically. It's strange, but it's got a charm to it.
I'll probably pass. I'll have to
Yeah.
see.
Jacob Elordi, though, are you familiar with?
I don't think so. What's he off?
So Saltburn. Have you seen Saltburn?
Oh, yeah. Oh, right. Yes, I reckon.
Yeah,
He's got,
that's
he
the
hasn't
guy
got a
from
tash.
Saltburn. He's also
He hasn't got a tash in Saltburn.
yeah, he's playing Elvis in the new Priscilla, in that new one.
Yeah, just my daughter can't see that. She says,
Yeah, the one that's out now as well. So he's big, like making big moves. This guy. So yeah,
he's superb in Saltburn. Have you seen Saltburn?
No, I just watched today the ending scene just because I heard what it was. I was like,
why do you spoil the movie for yourself?
I know what happens throughout the movie. Effectively, you know, like
it's worth watching because I didn't want to watch it because
of the bathtub scene, because I heard about bathtub scene. Yeah.
So I wasn't keen on that, and there's another scene which is just totally bizarre. But we watched it, and actually it's brilliant. It's worth watching just for Richard E. Grant. Because he's superb in it. But actually, that guy Jacob is absolutely brilliant in it as well. It's very good, worth a watch.
Nice. Okay. So him playing Frankenstein would be interesting.
Yeah, good, be very good. Just wanted to mention this. This is on final order, cut off in previous catalogue. This is the Trick or Treat Michael Myers from Halloween Kills 1/6 scale action figure. It's a pretty cool one, actually. $199. I don't think that's a bad price for one of these figures. I quite like that burnt mask look with the kind of the droopy face, you know.
Well, this is like it's not just birds, it's decayed, and he's got mold on him and everything. Like this is sitting in the sewers for 10 years, for 5 years. Michael Myers. Trick or Treat sort of. I think the mask qualities are always great. Like their their original Halloween Michael Myers looks great, but the bodies are not the dolls effectively. And the tailoring you can kind of tell is not up to scratch. But for the money, I mean, it's a 200. Usually they're only 100 and something, aren't they?
It's $199.
Yeah, but usually it's only like 120, isn't it?
No, not for a Trick or Treat.
For a Trick or Treat,
50, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dollars.
He's got a weird hand thing going on there. I don't know what's going on with his chubby fingers. I can't remember that in the movie. Does he has a kind of an odd...
He's missing 2 fingers, so he's got wrap on his thing.
Of course,
yeah.
Right.
They do look a bit long, I suppose. But,
bit ET like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Maybe the gangrous from sitting in the sewers, maybe.
But that's pretty cool. I quite like the look of that.
I'm curious if we'll get a Corey.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
The scarecrow thing would be cool. Yeah.
Still missed opportunity with that. They should have kept with that.
Absolutely, 100%.
We've got more in the Turtles kind of Universal Monsters line.
I'm sick of these. I don't care. Like, it's fucking stop making them. Like,
I quite like this one. I think the Wolfman one looks pretty cool. I don't know,
because it doesn't look like a turtle. Is that why? Because it just looks like a weird wolf thing.
Yeah, I don't know. It does appeal to us. I'll not buy it, obviously, but it does look quite interesting, I think. But yeah, it's an interesting one. I quite like these. Can't remember the price of them. These are like school kids in Halloween outfits, classic monster Halloween outfits. These are on the NECA website if you're interested to go and check them out. I just like the look of the colour of the costumes. But yeah, not bad.
It's not from a thing, no?
I don't think so. I don't think it's certainly nothing that I recognise. Because at first I thought it was from like Trick or Treat or something like that, but it's nothing that I've seen. But yeah, I think they're pretty cool. I quite like them. Okay, so this is a recent trailer for what's called, is it Baghead? Baghead, yeah.
Yes.
So I watched the trailer today.
Baghead? It is called Baghead, isn't it?
I'm sure it's Baghead, yeah.
Baghead,
you watched the trailer today as well, James. What did you think?
I saw it in the cinema the other day when night swim. The trailer started. I think the trailer's poorly put together, but the movie looks quite interesting. Like it had kind of almost talked to me vibes, like the structure of it, like the whole, like, there's this thing in the basement and you go in and it'll let you talk to a loved one. So that sounds interesting. I think it's one of those where, like, this could go either way. This could be really fantastic or just a shit. You know, like, I'm not sure. Like, it has. I think it will be sufficiently scary anyway. Like, there'll be some good jumps in it and good kind of tense moments.
I mean, I liked the trailer. I thought the trailer was kind of. I take what you're saying about it being poorly put together, but again, for me, I think they've revealed too much in the trailer. I didn't want to see what it looks like. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
Because
yeah,
you literally
that's what I
see it.
mean. Like it's we see
Yeah,
way too much. Like you could add a little tease.
yeah,
I don't think you should have shown them even just a hand, but we see like this proper like
yeah,
face, like
yeah.
full
And
in
it's not
light. You
that
see the
good.
thing. Like,
Do you know what I mean? It doesn't
no,
look
it's
that
CG.
good.
It
You
doesn't.
know? Yeah,
Yeah. It's like it's an interesting concept. So anyone who hasn't seen the trailer, it basically the story is that there is this girl moves into
the pub, is
there's
it? Is it a pub or something?
yeah a pub, and in the cellar there's this kind of creature, and it can summon the spirit of your like deceased
Dead.
loved ones, and like kind of allows them to possess it, and you can
Yeah,
speak to it. So they like tie it up, and there's this rich kid in the neighborhood whose
yeah,
mother died or something, and he wants to pay her to let him speak to his mother. And then the thing, the whole tagline's like "Don't let it out at the basement" or something, which is kind
yeah.
of um, yeah,
Yeah,
looks looks all
it's an
right.
interesting concept, isn't it? In that, I think when she gets to the pub or the house or whatever it is, everybody knows the creature's down there. So it doesn't the
It
guy
appears
who,
so. Everyone knows something's that. Well, the man just straight up knows, like, because I don't know
yeah,
how that happens.
yeah. But doesn't her
Yeah.
dad, whoever's left her the place in the video, says the property comes with another resident and you can't
Yes.
ever let her out, kind of thing.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, interesting. It looked interesting.
I like
Okay.
an old sackhead though. Sackheads are scary.
Sackhead, yeah. Oh, is
Yeah,
that is it sackhead? Sackhead or baghead? I can't remember what
it's called baghead, but it is a
Baghead.
sack.
You
Sorry, a
put it as a
Hessian
sack.
bag.
It's a Hessian bag.
It's a Hessian bag.
bag.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, Night Swim. So we've both seen it. We've not talked to each other about it, so we don't know what each other thinks. I've got a few different slides to go through. There's a couple about the cast and stuff like that. This hasn't been getting good reviews. There's been people saying it's not the best and all the rest of it. So before we go through some of the cast and the monsters and things like that, just overall, James, what did you think of it?
It was all right. I it definitely could have been a lot better. I halfway through this movie was thinking this would have made a really good short film, and then at the end of the movie, I saw based on the short film. I'm like, okay, well there you go. Sometimes, and it's happened before. Like you have other films, like Lights Out, for example. I think it's the best example of like a short film that was turned into an amazing movie. Sometimes great concepts don't necessarily justify a feature length film. I think this is the case here. There's a lot of like the story that I just didn't find it that into, like the dad being the baseball player. I was just like, it all feels just an excuse to get them around a swimming pool,
Yeah,
I love the concept. I love the idea of a haunting swimming pool. I think it's utilized very well in the film. There's like camera works where people are swimming and their heads bopping up and down, and then a thing is there, and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just not. It could have been a lot better. Like it just doesn't. I don't feel like it's justifies being, 90 minutes, 2 hours long.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was an interesting movie. It was my kind of horror. And what I mean by that is, I know you like your slasher and your stuff like that. This was more atmospheric for me. Like you see when they're swimming along and you see the thing on the diving board and stuff like that. I like that element. And this genuinely had. I always think there's two different kinds of horror, isn't there? There's kind of your Saw franchise where you're covering your eyes because it's gruesome, but it's in your face. It's there on the screen. It's in your face. And then there's this, which has got the jump scares, but like The Nun at times, stuff just appearing or stuff grabbing. And I really like that element of it. There are a couple of scenes where things just kind of appear and, I mean, it doesn't.
But by the way, spoilers.
Still
We're probably going to get into spoilers, but the Danny DeVito's in the pool with her. Like,
I mean, it's a bit weird that one.
Yeah, it's very
but
strange.
that kind of appears, and then there's that thing which appears, and I liked that kind of shock element to it, and I thought it was clever in that it kind of set some shocks up that didn't happen. So, for example, in this scene, I was sure she was going to chop her fingers off when she was cutting that watermelon. It felt so heavily kind of hinted. Yeah.
So
nothing happens. And it was like, oh.
Well, thanks. So, have you seen Hereditary?
I'm
Film
not sure.
Hereditary.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Okay, widely praised, one of the best horror films of the last
Yeah.
10 years or so. So Hereditary has I won't spoil what it is because we'll probably do it at some
Yeah.
point down the road. But it has a big shock moment like halfway through, like an oh my
Right.
god horrific thing, and I feel like this movie needed that. I think
Yeah.
you needed like at the swimming pool party, like someone needed to get sucked into that pool filter or something, like a really horrible, horrific
See, I
thing
completely disagree.
to have happened. No, I think that's what this movie's missing. Nobody dies in this thing really, like at all.
No,
You know,
but,
and
you're right there. You're right there. But
yeah,
I thought the swimming pool scene was, probably as a parent, was even more horrific for not having that monster scene. The fact that he was in the middle of the pool holding the kid down, holding onto his legs and effectively drowning the kid, was horrendous. But you're right, it would have been better if he died. But you know what I mean? I thought that was awful.
I think he should have slipped and your man cracked his head off.
I did think that's what was coming
like that. Yeah,
I did think that's
no.
what was coming.
For me, I think it needed that. Like it needed that edge to it. Like it just felt very safe throughout. And I think the horror sequences are very well done. Like like I said, the camera work. There's a lot of really beautiful underwater shots. When you're swimming, you're quite vulnerable, and I think you feel that in the movie for the characters. But like, there's sort of three major spooky pool sequences, like one with each kind of family member, effectively the daughter, the son, and the mother. Like the daughter one, the Marco Polo bit, which you see in the trailer. I thought that was really cool. The CGI was a bit too much. There's a lot of the CGI, and I think in the back half of this movie, it gets into like smoky CGI monster kind of things that I maybe was a bit much. But like the early spooky sequences were fantastic, I thought.
I nearly shit myself at one point where the kid's exploring, trying to get his toy out of the grate thing.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah. I thought he was going to pull again. Another perfect example. I think like when he's pulling at the boat, the Aquaman figure or whatever, and there's water. That should have been the cat.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you need that kind of really horrific, ominous kind of moments, like, and this just doesn't have that. It's like everyone has kind of a spooky thing happen to them that they kind of disregard then. You know what I mean? And they just go about it later, like so I think more stakes to it, I guess. More horror, you know what I mean? Like it's very safe.
I like the mythology of it, about it kind of goes back to the whole wishing well, that if you if you ask for a wish, if you put a coin in the water and ask for a wish, you get your wish, but something's got to be
tying into a thing that people are kind of familiar with. And I felt that coming, like at the start. You see that another great thing about this movie, some really good supporting characters. The pool guy, who I loved, I thought was hilarious. I don't know why he's only in one scene, but he was great. But where he says like, oh, it's a natural well underneath here, so I'm like, okay, the water, there's something to do with the water then. I also really like the real estate agent. I thought she was fun as well.
What did you think of the family who'd lived there before, and she was now living with the oxygen thing, and her son was dead rich. He'd been a politician or something. Then she got the black water coming out of her eye and stuff. I
didn't get why she's the one with the black thing coming out, because would it not have been the son that got like, because he's the one who was benefited from the water. That didn't make any sense. I thought it was cool when she's all snotty and everything. I thought that was kind of like, ooh,
is it not the person that makes the wish? So the person that makes the wish, and she made the wish, didn't she?
Oh, okay, I suppose. Yeah,
for
fair
her
enough.
son to be, fit and well. And she
that makes
the daughter.
Yeah, that's fair enough then.
It's
interesting sequence.
I thought that the cast were good.
I really liked Wyatt Russell. I love him in most of what he's in, so he was great. I don't think the movie needed. I like this. I find this just a lot of horror movies. It moves away from the kind of the thing you're there for towards the end. So like where the pool's not the scary thing in the back half of this movie. It's not really a scary thing, but like. It's almost like The Shining, he's possessed kind of thing. It's like, all right, we've seen this 1,000 times done way better than this. So like, this isn't really that interesting. I did like her rescuing the son in the swimming pool. I thought there were some cool visuals. I like how the coin came back later on, like the one that you threw in the pool.
The smiley face on it.
With the smiley face on it. I thought that was great. And the little girl helping.
I winced when she stood on the glass and it went through her arm.
When she falls and smack. Oh yeah, that was that was rough. Yeah.
So I think overall it's a decent watch for me. It's certainly not a classic horror or something I'll go back to. It's an easy sit down watch, I think.
I feel like by the end of the year, we'll just have forgotten that this came out
Yeah.
this
Oh,
year
absolutely.
at all, Yeah. So decent. Yeah. Did it sink or swim?
I think it bobbed. It bobbed.
It bobbed.
Yeah, it bobbed.
Okay.
It just kind of bobbed on the surface. It didn't make any waves.
Yeah. For me, it's floating face down, I think.
It's a floater. Yeah, it's a floater. Turd
Definitely.
Yeah. Right, we're going to end the show on this bit of news, and I'll tell you why. So this is the news that Steamboat Willie, is it? Or Steamboat
Yes.
Mickey?
Steamboat Willie.
Steamboat Willie
Yes.
is now in
The original
public
version of
domain.
Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So no sooner was it out in the public domain than they've started producing a horror movie, which looks interesting.
Two horror movies.
Like they did with Winnie the Pooh.
Exactly,
and
yeah.
there's a game as well.
I remember, I think on the 28th or 29th or something, I read like, 3 more days till Mickey Mouse, and I'm like, yeah, we're getting a horror movie announced immediately because we got the Winnie the Pooh thing. And I feel like there's going to be a trend, but we've not only had two. I think there's 2 of them. There's a Steamboat Willie movie, and then Mickey's Trap House or something like Mickey's Mousetrap. So those 2. Then I think there's 3. There's like 2 games, and like he's appearing in a horror game, another horror game, like as a guest character now. So it's just like people are really milking this.
So, first off, we're both going to watch this, I'm sure. So let's put that
100%. You say this, there's 2 of them. There's
Well,
2
yeah,
movies announced.
But I guess the thing that interests us more is why when these things go into the public domain do we immediately get horror? What makes it suddenly jump out as, oh, we'll turn Mickey into a murderer? And if that's the case, just imagining that some of the classic tunes kind of do come into the public domain at some point, what would you be pitching? What would you be thinking would be a cool horror based movie?
Well, I think the reason that they go for it's the juxtaposition of a kid friendly what has been for its entire existence a child's IP, like Twisted, and because you can legally do that now. So I think that's why since Winnie the Pooh got so much press, we're just going to see this with everything that becomes public domain now. And I was only looking up today some of the characters that are going to be public domain over the next decade or so, and there's one kind of element that I didn't think of, but like I think it's an interesting conversation around it. But like so Mickey Mouse this year, next year Pluto, Donald Duck in 2029, so 100% we're getting a Donald Duck one. Then
we're not getting Popeye this year as well.
Popeye presumably will be. I don't know if it kicks in at the start of the year, so it might be 2025, like first of 2025. But this is the area I think is quite interesting, and I think when these become public domain, Superman in 2033, James Bond in 2034, the Hobbit, Middle Earth characters in 2033, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Aquaman, all by 2036. Captain America. So like, yeah, we're getting a Superman horror movie presumably that year. We're going to start getting all those horror
Bizarre,
as horror characters.
It's a very strange concept for me that just happens.
Well, I mean that's why we can get.
But I can understand if nothing had been happening with the property. Do you know what I mean? If it's lied dormant for 20, 30 years, fair game. But when you've actively got movies coming out, shows coming out, I just think it's bizarre.
No, I think that's why we have Blade, because there was a Dracula comic that Marvel made because Dracula was public domain, and then Sherlock Holmes, we can get Sherlock Holmes movies. So it'll be a different universe, I think, when anyone can make a Batman movie. I think that's just sort of crazy, and like that's not that far away. It's only 8 years down the road. I think DC's in a lot of trouble when their 3 lead characters are free to use for anybody, and Marvel has another 20 years until really their major players start becoming public domain. So it's going to be a different universe. But in terms of like, I mean, you're effectively what childhood character would I like to see a horror movie about? I'll start. Yeah, go on. You start. Give me a minute.
Because I was just looking at this image and I thought an Inspector Gadget kind of movie where
that's funny.
Got chainsaws and shit coming out and blow torches and stuff like that. And you mentioned Superman there. I really enjoyed, although I didn't think it was as good
Oh,
as I'd hoped. But
Brightburn.
Brightburn, that could
Brightburn,
have
yeah.
been so much better.
Yeah.
But it was still had all the makings of a really really cool, movie. I enjoyed that one a lot.
Um, Pokemon would be really fun. I won't see it in my lifetime, but a Pokemon horror thing, I think it'd be really, really fun. Like or like, like sort of a universe that's like Pokemon, but you capture like actual scary monsters.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that'd be kind of
yeah,
cool, and you put them against people. Like I think that'd be
yeah.
fun. Um, I like Scooby Doo, an actual
Like a
like
proper
scary
proper
Scooby Doo
horror.
thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. With the Scooby Doo characters, I think, which is not outside the realm of possibility. But Scooby Doo is a good, 25, 30 years from public domain at this stage.
but
Like
it's
we're going to start
criminal that
seeing
we've
some
not
big
got.
characters soon. Like
It's
have we not got
criminal
what?
that we've not got, another Scooby Doo movie. And even if they were to do, you can make movies that are still appealing to a younger audience, but have got enough nods for adults. So you could make a decent Scooby Doo movie.
My guess is because you have like the CW, you have Riverdale ended now. Scooby Doo might be their saving grace. That might be the next like teen drama kind of thing that they
Yeah,
put out is like an adult, more mature version of Scooby Doo.
yeah,
If I was an executive, I think that's like a stroke of genius. That'd be like what would save them.
yeah, yeah,
This kind of like usually family friendly IP you can have a dark twist with, but like have like kind of romance and teen angst and all that
yeah,
shit. Like, but then have a monster of the week kind of thing as well going.
yeah.
So that's my guess for what they'll do with it in terms of like Scooby Doo and live action. Over the next few years, but we'll see.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Interesting times. Interesting times to see some of those things kind of coming into the public domain.
Yeah.
I wish it's interesting that none of the bigger companies have put money into it, but because it always seems to be these kind of low budget, shitty looking horrors. If you've got a big character like Mickey Mouse, I'm surprised one of the bigger studios doesn't try and get it.
I think some companies will be a bit salty initially. Give it a few years. Like I was only thinking this morning about like when Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Marvel will eventually down the road put Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman in their comics. But they were not going to do it in the next first couple of years. They're going to wait 10, 15 years. They'll do it the way they did Dracula, like and like they'll have a kind of a trio kind of thing with them, but they're not going to do it initially. I'm curious who'll do it first. Will DC put Captain America in first, and Namor and the android Human Torch?
I mean, I don't really understand enough about the public domain thing in terms of what the can and can't do, what the legalities are.
So it's the character as they existed. So you can have Batman, but you can't have Joker because Joker wasn't created till the next year. You can't have the Batmobile. I don't know if he like has to have purple gloves or something like you can't Gotham City potentially then or supporting characters, all that stuff. Like you can only have now the original version of Steamboat Willie. You can't do anything like you can't even remotely look like he does now.
So I know Luke, when we were talking about this on Saturday's show, was saying Steamboat Willie, he doesn't wear the gloves, the iconic white gloves. So this image already is kind of breaching.
They might get in trouble for that then. Yeah. And I'm sure Disney's going to be incredibly litigious about this over the next. You have one step out of line and you're fucked. Yeah.
But on a positive note, thinking about what you're just saying about the DC characters, that would be a tremendous way of getting a Marvel versus DC kind of cinematic event happening.
It might open the door for them to just allowing all the characters if they're like, well, you can just do this if you want to yourself, so we may as well let you. But yeah, like I mean, it's kind of crazy. Like within the next 9 years, Batman, Robin, Joker, the Batmobile, Catwoman, all free to use for anybody. Any filmmaker can make a one. We will start seeing. We'll see a Will Ferrell Batman movie. I'm sure. The way we got a Sherlock Holmes. Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like we're gonna start getting that kind of shit.
That's awful bloody movie. That
I know.
Yeah. Okay. Few things to mention just before we'll wrap up. A couple of videos for you to go and check out. We've got our best of 2023 video over on the channel. That's doing really, really well. When me and James just go through some of our favourite horror scenes, movies, and lines from the last year. So please do check that out. We've also got I'll Be Right Back, which is our little look at the marvellous movie, which is Gremlins. And we'll be doing I'll Be Right Back Gremlins 2, very, very soon. So check out
Next
that
week.
one as
That'll be next week.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking I wouldn't say that for people who are watching this in the future, you see.
Yeah, but it'll be in your recommended, you know, very soon. Well, then we don't plug anything then, you know, like let's say we have this on the channel.
2026, somebody will be watching this video thinking, oh, I better stay in next Friday because they're putting Gremlins 2 out.
And then you can watch the Batman horror movie as well. If you're watching in the future, actually, how was that Batman Joker horror movie?
Ooh, Batman Dracula film. That's what we'll do. Okay, ladies and gents, thank you very much for watching, everybody. That was one good scare, and we will catch you all next time. So, take care.
Everyone's got one good scare.
Who's doing the intro?
Sorry,
Is it me?
at the cough.
Is it me or you that does the intro?
You do it now, don't you?
Do I? For this
I think
one,
so. Yeah. For what? This is one good. This isn't. This isn't. I'll be right back. This is one good scare.
Off we go.
Yeah, okay.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to I'll Be You Fucking Dick. That's your fault. That's your fault. I wasn't going to say that. Bollocks.